All right, guys, what's going on? I have slept in a lot of rooftop tents over the years. Yeah, so this is the 5th rooftop tent. Some of them have been cheaper than what I've got currently. This is the Galaxy Lite. This is very low, mid-tier price-wise, but not quality-wise. We're going to get to that. Some of them have been more expensive as well. And so today I want to discover and explore the question, not is an expensive rooftop tent the way to go, is a cheap rooftop tent the way to go, but do you even need a rooftop tent? I think we're going to factor that into. Obviously, when can I even say the P word? When the China virus hit back in 2020, we were all forced on lockdown. World shut down. We were all forced indoors. But then, consequently, everyone wanted to get outdoors because you're not going to catch a cold when you have an infinite amount of ventilation. That was truly the golden age of people finding out, learning about, and then trying to do their own backyard version of overlanding. Rooftop tents boomed in popularity and in awareness. People finding out that they actually were a thing. Saw them on Instagram, all over YouTube, and the adventure lifestyle came into popularity. And ironically, it also hit the fashion world as well, kind of looking at the keyword of Gorpcore. And so you had the rise of the outdoor lifestyle really take off for your everyday people. Just like Gorpcore, it involved a lot of LARPers, a lot of people who wanted to buy into the image, get the look, but actually have no idea what the lifestyle is about, no interest in going on actual adventures and hiking. Same thing with the trucks. You got a lot of Gorpcore LARPers. Honestly, myself included. I hadn't ever been a truck owner. I had never been into vehicle-based camping and adventures and stuff, and I wanted to get into it. I wanted to start, but never went to Moab. I played it pretty safe, except for when the winters came. Then I liked to get off into the forests and push the limits a little bit. Fast forward to today, I don't call myself an overlander. Sure, my truck kind of looks like an overland reg-ish. We're just going camping. We're just doing fun little trips, and that's really all I'm doing. That's really all that this season of life allows me to do, and that's fine. But I think that rooftop tents aren't exclusively for the hardcore. You're going on a month-long trip. You need to do a freaking oil change during your trip because of how many miles you're driving. I think that they really are practical, especially with how many different styles of tents there are out there. You got the tents that fold out that accommodate a family. I had the Vision XL from Topoak, and that was a king-sized bed. You have the ultra lightweight tents. I had one from Inspired Overland that weighed less than 100 pounds. It's carbon fiber. Then you have everything in between. So first, before we dive into this tent specifically, the Topoak Galaxy Lite, let's talk about who are rooftop tents actually for. I'm going to break it down into 3 categories. People that, perfect chef's kiss, gonna really make you happy. And that's gonna be the weekend campers like me, frequent travelers, smaller families, as well as road trippers. And then of course, overlanders. For that maybe category, you could go either way. It might be helpful or it might be a liability, and you might be frustrated with it. It's gonna be fine either way, but at the end of the day, when you ask yourself, is this money that I spent justified? Is it worth it? Or is the cost per night that I spend in it not more expensive than staying in a hotel? So people who fall under this maybe category are honestly kind of me. It's going to be your hunters, check. For me, occasional campers, definitely check. I only go count on one hand during a given year. And then people who hit up the state parks, which that's where we are currently. We're in a state park. We're not dispersed camping. And then realistically, they're probably not for the occasional campers where you might go with friends, but you're only doing it once or twice a year. Definitely not for backpackers where you need to have everything with you, and then you're going to be hiking and doing a long trek, unless you're just doing a loop, and then you get right back to camp. And then my poor friends, people who are really, really, really budget conscious. Although you could argue that today's tent might be for those people. Okay, so real quick, I just want to thank some supporters of the channel. Feel free to use my link tree in the description down below. It's got a bunch of gear, a bunch of fun toys with codes and stuff. So yeah, go check it out. It's like a bit.ly landing page. Travoca. This is their fridge freezer combo that I've been using on this camping trip, and it's been awesome. It's got dual zone. You can open it from either end, and it holds a decent amount of stuff in there. I'll put the capacity on screen here, but I'm using the freezer zone for drinks specifically, so that's not freezing currently. Yeah, the build quality is great. It's a pretty one. Obviously, I got a dent here. This is aluminum, so it can dent.
Please, I need to open.
You need to open it. Evie, do you like the fridge?
Do you like the fridge?
And it comes with power to be able to plug it into a wall, convert it from AC to DC, or it comes with a cigarette lighter plug style. I have had a 12-volt fridge in the past. This one was leaps and bounds ahead, nicer than the one that I had from the other company. They're not paying me for this. They just sent the fridge out to me for free, and I chose to talk about it. Additionally, Topoak sent me a bunch of accessories, kind of like this really nice chair. In the past, they sent me this awning that I've already talked about, the 270, but I still use it, obviously, and really love it. They sent me the tent for free, and they sent me the air mattress for free as well, and a few other accessories that I either don't like or left at home on accident. Topoak is not paying me for any of this content, for any glazing. I did tell them I would make a video though. So living with a rooftop tent daily, like it's going to be on your truck every day. I'm gonna assume, unless you have some pulley system in your garage that I don't have the luxury of having. My garage can't even fit my truck. Realistically, you're gonna see a hit to gas mileage, a hit to your wind drag efficiency. How the vehicle accelerates, brakes, and handles. It's gonna be changed. Those dynamics will change a little bit. For me, I do hear it on top of the truck a little bit because the tent is mounted to my Prinsu roof rack. It's metal on metal. And so sometimes you do hear that vibration or the impact, depending on what kind of roads you hit. Now, if you're looking at the two Topoak tents that I've most recently had, being the Galaxy Lite and the Vision XL, those differences in weight, in wind drag, in vehicle performance hit that you're going to be suffering are pretty drastically different. I would argue that it might be important to optimize the style of tent based on how often you're going to use it versus how often you're going to be just driving with it, not camping. The next part of the experience is going to be how is it to use it? How is it to sleep in it? The main thing you'll be doing in a rooftop tent when you break down how many hours you spend in it versus what activities you're doing in it, I think. Sleeping comfort is pretty solid across the board of all the rooftop tents I've tried out. The biggest downside has been either insulation or lack thereof when it gets really cold in the winter, as well as the mattress comfort. That's been pretty hit or miss, mostly miss throughout the years. I've tried like foam toppers for queen mattresses that I cut up and put underneath the stock mattress that comes with it. Tried some pretty ghetto stuff. Tried air mattresses that weren't really made for a rooftop tent. Fortunately, Topoak, as well as a lot of other manufacturers, not saying that you guys have to be locked into Topoak. They just have, I've tried their tents over numerous years and have seen them get better with each generation and iteration. And I've been really impressed with where they've landed. Now they're offering kind of custom cut foam, memory foam, air hybrid mattresses that have self-inflation and self-deflation, which is the gold standard today. Super convenient. You don't need to bring any tools to blow them up or to successfully deflate them all the way. I run that mattress on top of my stock mattress. That just gives me extra comfort. So it's like the 3 inches or the 4 inches of foam air hybrid plus the 2.5 or 3 inches. Okay, it looks like it's 1.5 inches of foam, which is not very much. If you're just a back sleeper, and you have a great back as well, I think you can probably get away with that. Any side sleeping, you're going to need something a little bit extra. Setup and teardown is really simple, very easy and quick. As you guys could see, installing the rain flight holes, it's not compatible if you have a side mounted awning. And I don't think this tent was necessarily meant to be used with a side mounted awning because it doesn't have enough channels to mount it directly to the tent. But I have mine mounted to my roof rack. So I kind of Frankenstein rigged my Topoak 270 onto it. It rained pretty moderately to heavily throughout the night yesterday. We had the rain fly only halfway set up on the sides that the awning does not touch. And even with the rain, it did perfectly fine. No water got in, which I'm very used to having water get into my tents. That is one thing that you suffer when you go the cheap route. Suffice to say, this is very well weather sealed. The seams are taped. Everything's lined extremely well. I think it would hold up in a really heavy all night long rainstorm, especially if you have the flies deployed properly. So obviously this fits 2.5 comfortably. Oh, this air mattress is definitely a must-have. Rise and shine. Night 1 in the tent. Mattress deflated a little bit, so I opened it back up. Hair is crazy. It's very comfortable overall, but we ended up bringing the dog up into the tent with us at like 1 o'clock in the morning because she was freaking out. So it does accommodate 1 tiny human and 1 dog and 2 small adults. We're very fun size. All right. Even the wife to attest, the sleeping comfort in this tent has been prime, more comfortable than any of the other iterations or tents that we've had on the channel so far. If you guys are married, I think that goes a very long way. All right, talking about build quality and a little bit about spec. This is the Topoak Galaxy Lite. They're like plus size, so it's the 56-inch length version. Because I'm such a tall guy, I need that extra 4 inches of length. No, it just makes it a little bit easier to maneuver, wiggle around, and for us, we were able to fit my wife, myself. We're both under that 5'5" range. I'm 5'5", she's 5'2". Threw in the toddler and the dog. So you are kind of really able to pack this out clown car style in a way that I wasn't expecting. This is, I believe, Topoak's cheapest tent that they offer. I'm looking on their website right now just to kind of make sure, and I'm really shocked. And I think I have an affiliate code with a little savings. Even without codes, even without sales, you can get this tent for under $1,500. I don't know where they cut costs. Obviously in some material because it is lighter weight. Although it's not like a crazy ultralight tent. The model that I have is 136 pounds. I was able to mount it up relatively easily. I didn't stretch and I should have, so I tweaked my neck. But with 2 guys, including myself. The Vision XL that I had was pushing over 200 pounds. So that's a pretty massive weight savings, especially when it's on the top of your car. The really cool thing is that when this tent is closed, it is under 5 inches. It's 4.9 inches when it's shut. My truck has 145 horsepower. That was 34 years ago. So by now, it probably has about 7 horsepower. Every drop of optimization for acceleration and braking, because the brakes aren't good, that I can squeeze out of any camping setup, especially one that I daily drive. For me, I think this is pretty optimal. Hardware is really, really high quality. The zippers, YKK, basically I'm really not worried about them coming off the track in a year and disintegrating like a lot of other cheap tents I've tested. When you're inside, the interior just feels really, honestly, like close to being premium and a lot nicer than $1,500. I mean, the same $1,500 you could spend years ago, even at Topoak, wouldn't get you this level of quality. So they are pushing the bounds, and every year, every generation, even like mid-generation updates that they've made, I've seen improvements. So they're doing a wonderful job to make sure that they're honoring your dollar. The ladder is improved over the last ladder I've tested from them a couple of years ago. Hooks that it interfaces with are high quality. The latches feel like they've reached a point of kind of peak performance. And I really like how when you shut the tent, when it's closed, it's a one-piece close. It's not a clamshell close where the tent meets itself halfway. 2 rubber weather sealing strips that kind of keep everything out, but it's closed all the way to the bottom so that any rain is just going to mostly fall, but then there is that weather strip that keeps it out. So it seems like a more dual approach way of keeping that tent sealed up when it's closed. The ventilation is pretty good. It was pretty hot last night. It was pretty toasty. I think it was in the high 70s even after the sun set. So we did keep the tent open and it was nicely ventilated. We had a fan running that we just hooked up. And so we survived. We got by. It was a little sticky at first. Yeah, I'm trying to think about things that I would change about it because I feel like I've talked about things that I love about it. It's very comfortable. The price to performance ratio is really insane. I guess I wish the rain fly mounting would be not under the tent because then you could use it with an awning. We didn't even use the light bar in there. There's a LED light bar. Abby, what are your thoughts? What did you think about the tent? How did you sleep last night?
You sleep. I'm good. I'm good.
You sleep, I'm good. All right. We got the stamp of approval. She slept in it just fine. What I keep in there and what it's able to fit and still shut is going to be your stock mattress that it came with, the vacuumed and fully deflated air mattress that you can upgrade to. The ladder, inside the ladder bag. It comes with 2 shoe bags as well in that ladder bag. It also comes with crossbars you can mount on top of the tent, strap things to the top of the tent. I'm not going to install those probably. Again, I just like to keep the overall footprint and size as low to the ground as possible. I think when you're buying a tent like this that is under 5 inches closed, you want to keep it under 5 inches closed. I'm also keeping it in there. The shoe bags, of course, those are 0 size edition. 2 sleeping bags and the rain poles. And everything comes inside its own bag. So you're not throwing a muddy ladder up there. You're not throwing wet rain poles, even though it's really easy to wipe those off before you throw them in there. But yeah, everything's self-contained and clean. I just really like that. So yeah, in the end, is this tent worth it? To me, I think camping, just like a lot of the other topics we explore on this channel, it shouldn't be about buying expensive gear. It's really fun to do that. It's really fun to watch videos about that. And it's fun to dream. But I think ultimately, it's about how much friction can I remove so that I will be able to more easily pack up real quick and then go on that weekend trip. And when I go to camp, I know that setup isn't going to take me 7 hours. So if a rooftop tent helps you get out 3 more, 5 more times in a given year than a hub-style ground tent, I think it's absolutely worth it. And for me, I can definitively say that without something like this, with an easy setup, it would absolutely limit my yearly trip count from like 2 to 3 to 0 to 1. So thank you guys for watching. I hope that you learned something. If you're interested in this tent, again, feel free to use my code or don't. This is a fantastic tent. There are a lot of other fantastic tents out there. So just be an informed consumer when you're picking one up and make sure that it's going to fit exactly what you need. Fortunately, I think Topoak's lineup is pretty well-rounded and comprehensive that you can, kind of regardless of what you need in a rooftop tent, have a product there specifically for you. So thanks, guys. We're going to cut it off there, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.